The economy of Star Wars could be described as cutthroat. There are rich and there are slaves. There is trade, banking, debts, bounties, and serious consequences for those on the wrong end of them. But how do the Jedi fit into this system? Here is an organization of essentially martial arts wielding wizard monks who devote their entire lives to a mission of upholding peace and justice in the galaxy. Their actions don't ever seem to be profit generating, but they have an extensive portfolio of assets that make the royal family of Alderaan seem like struggling krill farmers. The Jedi have prime real estate throughout the entire galaxy, from their massive temple and training facility next to the seat of government, to the dozens, if not hundreds, of stunning, majestic temples on planets extending all the way to the Outer Rim. They have starfighters and capital ships among the best and most advanced around. They need droids, and parts for their lightsabers and all the other tech they use in their adventures. Not to mention what must be an exorbitant fabric bill for all of their fabulous outfits, and the cost of feeding those 10,000 hungry mouths must be substantial. Using the Force burns a lot of calories if the way Grogu eats is any indication. So who pays for all of this? There are a number of possibilities, but the two most plausible explanations mirror the way religions in the real world sustain themselves. Makes sense, as the Jedi are referred to as a religion on numerous occasions.
You, my friend, are all that's left of their religion.
The first is just that they've been around for a very long time, likely as long as 20 to 25,000 years. This longevity has given them the ability to hoard prime real estate and other precious resources. Non-canon sources such as the 2008 book The Complete Star Wars Encyclopedia have mentioned an interstellar stock exchange, and if such an organization exists, the dividends and interest of a 20,000-year-old portfolio would be substantial, assuming they were invested in the right places by the right people. Thanks to the opening crawl of The Phantom Menace, we know taxes exist, so it seems safe to assume that also like the real world, the Jedi would hold tax-exempt status. The second possible explanation, also similar to real-world religions, is that they are subsidized by private donors. The Santeca family comes to mind as a potential benefactor of the Jedi Order. Lor Santeca, played by Max von Sydow in The Force Awakens, is known to be a Jedi historian with deep ties to the Order. About 250 years earlier, as seen in the High Republic books, his ancestors are among the wealthiest in the galaxy after striking it rich in hyperspace prospecting. They are also devout members of the Church of the Force, worshipping those that can wield it, in other words, the Jedi. Combining that devotion and their riches, it's not a leap to believe that they could be a major source of capital for the high overhead of the Jedi Order. The only other potential source of funding for the Jedi that makes sense is the Senate. Perhaps like the British royal family, the operating costs of the Order are part of the Republic's budget. It would be a rather substantial chunk of the budget, but unlike the Windsors, the Jedi are not just ceremonial figures, but the Republic's de facto peacekeeping force. That would make them more akin to the United States military, whose budget makes up more than half of all discretionary spending. If there was as much resentment from a segment of the Star Wars population as there is in the UK and the US for those types of expenditures, it would make sense that senators would want oversight of the Jedi, such as Senator Rayencourt in The Acolyte.
I think the Jedi are a massive system of unchecked power, posing as a religion.
And it would explain why people didn't seem so choked up when the Jedi were wiped out after Order 66. What are your thoughts?